I'm going to talk to you today about reviews, specifically Amazon and Goodreads reviews, and why authors ask for them and whether or not we actually read them. As far as whether or not authors read them, this is going to vary from person to person. Do I read them? No. Even though I'm out there begging everyone for them, telling you how much it will help me, I almost never read them. And the reason is I've read a few that were put in front of me, and never again. Now, for the most part, my books get really high ratings. It's a self-selecting bias. It takes a lot of energy to hate things, even on the internet. And if a book, if it really sucks, do you really want to put yourself through writing about it on top of that? I mean, if you're really motivated, maybe. But for the most part, kind of the process is people follow me on Twitter, then they subscribe to my newsletter, then they buy the book. So by the time you get down there, people have kind of weeded themselves out. And people who hated me at 280 characters probably didn't make it to step 2. And people who hated my emails probably unsubscribed. So by the time you get through all that, there's a good chance that if you buy the book, you're probably going to like it, because everybody who's going to hate it has just screened themselves out. With that being said, it does happen. There was the review that drove me crazy. The review that I vowed would be the last review I ever read. There was somebody who wrote like 1,000-word review of one of my earlier books, and they didn't like it, which is fine. Everything is subjective. But the part that got me was they went and they used my tweets. And they posted tweets and said, look at how funny this guy is. These are hilarious. And everybody in the comments was laughing at them. And they said, he's so funny. Don't buy his book. Just go read his stuff for free. Like, what is this? This person is obviously a huge fan of me and then went out of their way to use my own material to encourage people to not buy my book. After that, I was kind of done with that particular site's reviews. In general, though, authors don't really need reviews to know what's wrong with the book. Trust me, we know what's wrong with our books. We know what's wrong with ourselves. Like, if you want to get into a conversation where we discuss my flaws, I will have way more to say than you are. I am entirely too self-aware, and thanks to my wife and my kids and everything, my shortcomings have been eminently pointed out, and that extends to the book. Like, by the time a book goes to print, I will have gone over that thing just on my own probably 20 times all the way through, and then more times added on top of that with several layers of editing where they find new and different flaws you didn't even know existed. So by the time it's like released, I know it so well. It's to the point where I know what's wrong with it. It can't be fixed. I know what's right with it, and I don't want to mess with it and get rid of that either. So it's not really helpful for that. But what reviews are helpful for is making more sales. It supposedly boosts your Amazon ranking if you have 50 or more. I kind of think that's one of those old wives' tales out there, because nobody knows what Amazon's algorithms are. There's nobody in there hacking it back to see if you get promoted up or down in the rankings or whatever. I don't think there's a lot of truth to that, but 50 is the number. What it does do, though, is it shows people that other people have read your book, because the sales ranking isn't really that useful, because it goes up and down by the day. But if I go and I see somebody's book has 400 reviews, like, holy cow, a lot of people read that book, because unless they sold exactly 400 copies and those people were all such diehard fans that all 400 of them left a review, I mean, those 400 reviews represent thousands and thousands of people. And you figure thousands and thousands of people, you get the aggregate opinion, they probably can't be wrong, or they can't be that wrong. Then again, you look at elections and an entire country can be wrong. So who knows? Maybe going by the mass appeal approach isn't the right way. But when I go and when I bought a zucchini spiralizer the other day, I didn't. It gets hard to compare tech specs on a vegetable spiralizer. Like, what are you even going by on that? It's like, ooh, look at the cutting surface on this one. Like, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a vegetableologist. So what I really did is I went to the one that had the most reviews. And maybe that one was too expensive. So I went to the one with the second most reviews. Like, okay, 15,000 people bought this at least, because 15,000 people left reviews. It's probably not going to slice my fingers off. It will probably slice the vegetables I want it to slice. I will buy it. It's the same kind of thing. You don't want to be the first person to go out there and buy a book with 0 reviews. It makes people nervous. So if you have 50 reviews or 100 or 150 or 200 or whatever, it says, okay, other human beings have bought this book. It's not a scam. There are actual words inside the pages. That makes me more comfortable. So that's what reviews are useful for. What they're also useful for is drowning out trolls. Because if your book only has 5 reviews and one of those people is an unverified person just saying, this sucks, I hate it, and they go away. I mean, it can drop you by like an entire star. But if you have like 100 reviews in there to buffer it, then you're good. You can drown out the opinion of that one angry person. However, if you in turn draw in more angry people, then I guess it kind of evens out. So there you have it on reviews. They do help you in the same sense that it helps you sell any other product on Amazon. I doubt they actually adjust the ranks. Lots of people do read their own reviews. I typically do not, and the few times I have, the ego boost I get from all the people who love my book is always more than offset by the one or two people who just get really mad at it. So I just, the way my psyche is set up, I could get 1,000 compliments in a day and one insult, and that insult totally undoes all the other stuff. So I just as soon ignore the compliments and the insult and just go by my own opinion of myself, which itself is not that great. But that's okay, because it's the base level of disappointment that I'm useful. Anyway, that's my opinion on reviews. If you did read my book and you liked it, please leave one on Amazon. If you read my book and didn't like it, maybe don't leave a review on Amazon. Maybe go do literally anything else. The world is fun, the world is fun, I guess. Maybe not when you're reading my book, but the world is full of exciting activities you can go out there and do other than bombing people's books on Amazon. So there you have it. Catch you next time.